Welcome back to the Chill Zone podcast. I'm your host Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin', and I'm here with my co-host Roger.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
And this week we unfortunately don't have a guest due to some scheduling conflicts. But if anyone is ever interested in coming on the show, just reach out to me or Roger for sure. But
Yeah.
Nonetheless, let's move on to the first topic of this week. We're going to talk about some gaming news. First on the list here is Google is changing the ideas for their gaming branch. What is your thoughts on this so far, Roger?
So first of all, I wanted to also mention, we mentioned last week that we were going to do a review stream this week, and we just didn't have time to get around to the game. We've been working on other games, and our schedules haven't met, and we tried to do a co-op game. Hopefully, we'll be able to release it in March, though.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get to it.
So, looking at the Google Stadia news, I was surprised. I didn't even know Google Stadia was actually developing games. I wasn't even paying attention to it. I just thought it was just a new way to. I thought they were trying to get into the console wars essentially, and just make a console that plays games without having to have them on locally. Being able to use somebody else's rendering
the new
rig.
Cloud streaming service. Everyone else is getting into, like Amazon and Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was definitely interesting. I personally didn't know it either that they were producing games. I don't even know a game that they have made.
I don't think they've made any games, to be honest. I think the Google Stadia...
They created a developer and never got around to creating a game. I guess they couldn't work it out.
Didn't have storyboards or something, maybe.
Right. My guess is it's probably like a good idea that they decided to close on that because their platform, Google Stadia, hasn't been great or even good from day one.
Yeah.
It's been having issues, like having like good support and like people are like really understanding this because this is something new. This is a new field of gaming, and it's smart. It's a way to allow more people to have access to games and stuff like that.
Higher definition of games, really.
Right, yeah. And I don't know, their subscription platform was weird. It's like you can play Stadia for free, but then pay games individually, which is normal, I guess. But then like their Stadia Pro membership, like kind of was like Game Pass in a way, I guess. Like you get like a couple, like a game or two a month.
From what I understood, I thought that they were just going to make it an online catalog, and you just paid a Hulu subscription essentially, just another Netflix sub.
Right.
But
yeah, another idea I wanted to get over is: do you think this will affect the actual Stadia platform? Do you think like they're on the decline, or do you think they'll still keep it around for a while?
I'm gonna say what I said last time we talked about the Stadia. Stadia's trash. Let's be honest here. It's a trash console. It was a good idea, but it just nobody wants it. Everyone wants to have their own console. Why do I want to pay? Like, what if I lose internet? That's it. I have no games.
Right. Yeah. I don't even know if there's a way to play offline.
I can't travel with it. The minimum requirement is 10 megabits per second.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to literally, like, if you're running basic broadband that most people in the United States have, because we're a third world country when it comes to internet service, most people are running around 10 megabits per second. I'm running a gigabit per second, but that's only because I paid, I was lucky enough to get Verizon Fios.
Right. No, yeah, I agree. I mean, I played the Microsoft xCloud and actually streamed my console to my phone, and I have no issues running it. So I don't see why Google would have an issue with the 10 megabits. Like, it's a minimum requirement. Like, that's your 4G or LTE or whatever you're running can support that. And once 5G is out, I think the cloud gaming has a better chance of being able to support it.
The thing is, then you're going to be playing on your phone, and let's be honest, playing on the phone sucks.
Yeah,
unless you're playing a card game. If you're playing a card game, it's one thing. Like I'll fucking play. When I was riding the train to work before the whole coronavirus thing, I was playing. Friggin' Shadowverse, which is a card game for Android and iOS and Steam if you want to play it on your computer.
Right. No, I mean, But the mobile market is one of the biggest markets in the world. That's why people are trying to
Well,
find a way into it. And I think this is
I
what Google answer was. And
I
there's a lot of people that play other games
yeah
that, like Call of Duty Mobile is huge. It's one of the biggest games on the market,
yeah
but it's because of the title, Call of Duty.
yeah. Well, and it's yeah, and it's supposed to compete with Fortnite, which did the whole phone
Mobile
gaming
thing.
too. Yeah, the whole phone
Yeah.
game thing. So I think it's a way to get into the market, but if you really care about playing the games, I think people aren't going to want to play on their phones. It's
Yeah, that
like
was my whole outlook too with XCloud because
yeah,
XCloud I play a lot of Xbox stuff, and I think XCloud is like if for a true gamer like me is like if I'm on the go and I'm like shit I need to do like these missions real quick like if I'm into a game that much and I got to do daily missions or something, you hop in real quick, do them, and then you're done or whatever. Like or people who are traveling like a lot to work like commute like trains or
yeah,
something like
that's
that.
like I
It's
was.
cool. Yeah, like it's cool to have like something to do,
But
pass the
I'd
time.
honestly play with the Switch over playing with one of these. Like I'd
Right,
actually
right.
like a full-fledged console in my hand that doesn't require internet.
Yeah, but that's a $300 price tag as opposed to having your phone that you already have.
Yeah, but then you also
That's the
does
difference.
everyone have an unlimited data plan? Most people do, it seems anymore, but like unlimited isn't really unlimited.
Yeah, it caps out at most companies like 22 gigs or something like that. You'll
Yeah,
go through that really quick.
you'll eat that shit so fast.
Any last thoughts on this Google part?
The Google Stadia, I really don't think there's. I saw the writing on the wall when they released the console and said, "Well, it flopped." Uh,
Yeah, I just didn't think they put enough effort into it and capitalizing on it
Not at
for
all.
sure. I mean, maybe in the future they can revisit it, or I mean, over the years it could develop into something that we can't live without. I mean,
Yeah,
it
maybe.
could be the next big thing, but yeah, I think we're a few years away from that technology.
Yeah, honestly, we have to get to the point where every lamp post is also a Wi-Fi router. So,
Right,
which
especially with the 5G because the 5G, like the actual 5G that's really fast, only has like a range of like 100 feet or
mhm,
whatever, like 200 or 300 feet.
mhm.
And those are, like you said, they're going to have to be like every light pole.
Yeah,
And that's expensive,
yeah, it
super
is.
expensive.
It's so
But once that
expensive.
becomes cheap or affordable or whatever, and they can spread it across the world, then it'll make a difference. But we're even few years out. Like all these companies are making these 5G phones for what? Because 5G is only in like major cities, and
Cause,
that's made.
'Cause it's an interesting number. It's more than 4G, so people are gonna eat that shit up, dude.
Like, oh, it's
That's
5G. I gotta get it. It's better than the 4G
gotta get
phone.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel bad for the non-tech people.
Yeah, yeah. They're just
But let's another gaming news topic here, which piqued my interest a lot, is the college football game franchise is being resurrecting. That's exciting to see. But one other outlook that you brought up in the pre in this week was how are the athletes going to get paid because they're going to have to
yeah.
get compensated
So
for their likeness or whatever.
So yeah, that's the whole thing that like I was looking at because we have this whole college scandals all the time. College is a way to churn out just American failures. It seems sometimes these people
Hmm.
go in, they'll go in for gen eds and never figure out what degree they want, but they'll get a full ride scholarship or they'll go in not get anything. So like the big issue we have is AAA sports in the United States is almost as big as like actual uh, NFL or
Right,
the NFL, the NHL. These things almost have as big of a budget as the national like the AAA football. Like
right.
AAA
Like
football is
Madden.
huge.
Are you talking about the game?
Just
Like,
like college football in general is what I mean. Like
oh
college
yeah, yeah.
football is just a money churning device.
Right,
Like,
right.
have you
And,
seen?
and that's the sad part where like these college athletes are being basically used for
Mhm.
their entertainment and not getting anything out of it. Like these big schools or even little schools too that have good talent get millions upon millions of dollars and the athletes see none of that.
Well, and that's the thing. And then all of that money goes to like the coach makes millions a year.
Millions of dollars.
It's crazy how much these people make. So I'm really like cuz I'm on the fence. Like I believe in fair trade and I don't think there's a completely fair trade there. The athletes, yes, full ride to college in this day and age, that's awesome. But again,
Right,
you can get that with just academics sometimes. Like
right.
Jordan got close to a full ride on her college. She had barely
Mhm.
any debt coming out of it, but like it was only maybe 10 grand a semester, if that she had to pay. Not even, I don't think. I think she had to pay what, like 5 grand a
Right.
semester.
Well,
So it's
but
barely any
the
money.
whole system is flawed, and it's
Yeah,
because like to be able to play, they made some adjustments now in the rules,
yeah,
but to be able to make it to the professional level, you had to go to college. You had
yeah,
no alternative routes. You had to go to college, or you're not coming to pro.
yeah,
Which kind of makes sense. Like if you look at it a different sense, like if you want a career job, you got to go to college or a trade school or whatever, and then
yeah,
you can get into that. You can't just go right into it.
yeah.
But like at least there's options to go into it.
Well,
Like you can
and
go to
what's
college and
and
get
what's
that.
crazy to me is like other sports, like the NHL. You have it's I don't think it's the American Hockey League or whatever, the league
The
in which
AHL.
the AHL, I think, yeah, is American
Yeah,
Hockey League, yeah.
yeah, with
So
the
like
Hershey Bears
The
playing.
Hershey Bears, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They're a feeder team for like
yeah, they're the
The
farm system.
Capitals. Yeah, so the farm system exists, but I didn't know that you had to go to college and play in college football to be able to go on to national football.
I forget what it is now. I think you have to be play at college for like 2 years or something, or like it's either like 2 years or your age or something like that.
Uh huh.
Because like basketball changed too, where like you used to be able to come out of high school and go pro. I think LeBron or somebody like that was the last player to do that,
Uh huh.
and then they changed the rule like you have to go to college for at least a year. So now you're getting a full ride scholarship to go to college for 1 year to leave that to go pro.
And just
Just
flunk out of
eliminate that.
college for a year. Yeah, and
Just eliminate that process. Which
and
they're kind of working on it now. Now they're like, if you want to go overseas and play for a year before, because you have to go do something at least for a year. So
yeah,
now you can go overseas and play basketball for a year, or you can go and play in the G League, which is
yeah,
the farm system for the NBA. So like you have those options. So now they're giving them more options. But the thing is, like when you go overseas, you're getting paid. When you're playing in the G League, you're getting paid. When you go to college, you're not.
yeah. So like that's the thing. Like you're not getting paid. You're going to these colleges, and these colleges are making millions of dollars. When we talk about AAA now, like smaller schools like my school, for example, Susquehanna, they got what they got. It was a pretty even trade. They're not making money from the football league, like the football team. But we're
Right.
talking about like AAA football here. That's what this game is based on. And
Yeah, you're talking
you
about
know,
division.
so then at this point, when you sign on, the AAA football league is literally selling your rights to you because you've sold away your rights to them, and they in turn sell it away to EA.
Right. Yeah,
You
that's the thing. Like,
you get
so
no you get no say in it other than yeah, I signed away my life to play AAA
right.
football.
So yeah, this is college football or college games in general went away because of this. Them not getting paid and this that and that caused tons of lawsuits.
Yeah,
And so I'm assuming that they worked something out where each athlete that is in the game or represented somewhere or another is going to get some kind of incentive,
hmm,
whether it's a couple $100 or whatever the case may be. They had to have done this to bring this franchise back,
yeah,
which to me is good. I enjoyed playing the college football games and college basketball games. Last time when I played was 13. I was at Shippensburg
yeah,
University, and it was cool. I had guys coming over all the time. We were running that up, and after
hmm,
that, it was like no more college games, and it just kind of went away. But
yeah.
so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I personally I'm not a big like I don't play very many sports games. I liked playing the football every so often, and I liked playing hockey every so often. But like I
Hmm.
didn't play it enough for it to be, really that impactful.
Right,
For me, when it comes back, it's just interesting to me from a socioeconomic perspective, like what
right,
is going to happen for these athletes. You know,
right.
um,
Maybe this is their way of getting paid now.
maybe.
Like I mean, there got to be something. Like there's no way that they're about to bring us back, and then like if they don't want to pay the athletes and they just create these random players on these random teams, like
Yeah,
then it's just like, what's the point of even having this game? Now this game's just completely made up.
yeah, and
It's
then at
supposed to
that
be a
point,
simulation, right?
yeah, and at that point, it just comes to the stance of, well, you buy the game to play the roster that year. It feels like that's the point of doing it. But then again, you can play with people from any year. Sometimes you can literally just make whatever roster you want to make, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
I mean, heck, there's even people that play Madden or 2K and they create because you can create rosters in that game too, and they'll create players that are in college like and that are about to come to the NBA or the NFL the
Hmm.
next year, and that they'll create updated rosters with them players on it. They're not even in the major leagues yet,
Yeah.
so it, that's even interesting to see too. Because like, how does that work? Do those people get paid even though it's like a fan made roster, fan made
Yeah.
player? Like that's definitely a huge gray area.
Yeah. So
But
I just think it's going to be an interesting thought, and I'm interested to see where it goes because we've seen the college scandals with sports,
yeah,
but it kind of I haven't heard anything in recent. But then again, the last year haven't really had college. Well, we did, and the new
yeah,
scandal is making them play.
right, right. Yeah, the only other scandal thing I heard was that those famous people, the one chick from Full House,
Oh,
how
but
she went to
that
Boston.
wasn't like sports related. That was
Yeah, that
just
wasn't
college
sports related, but yeah, that
admissions.
was the only thing. That
Yeah,
was only college admissions with
yeah,
money and stuff like that.
and
So
and it just goes to show money gets you anything you want in the United States. But
it does. It's
yeah,
not even just the United States though. That's
yeah,
everywhere. But just another question here on the college football. Do you think this will lead to other college sports games?
no,
Because
no.
college basketball could be revived as well.
No.
Then if this works
College
out,
basketball, in my opinion, from what I understand, isn't as big as college football. I think college football, like I know
March
there
Madness
are.
is one of the biggest
That's
events of.
that's true. I forgot about March Madness. So I guess maybe
I could
you
see
would
those
see
two sports,
basketball.
and that's
That's
it.
it. Yeah, nothing else. Like there
'Cause
isn't
actually,
college.
even before the whole scandal, there wasn't. I don't think there was any other college game. There might have been, but I don't remember
No,
them.
yeah, maybe you'll see the basketball come back then. Because yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
all about March Madness. Being about
yeah,
a
and that
college
would be
sport.
a huge. I would love to play a college basketball game and have my chance of going through a March Madness.
Yeah,
Create a my player, like create my own player and go through March Madness. That'd be pretty cool.
yeah. No, I get you. It would be fun, but it just all depends on how this game holds up against potentially more legal lawsuits
Legal.
about, using people's, identity and stuff like that.
Right, right. No, yeah, I definitely agree. So, I mean, any other last thoughts before we move
Not
on to
really.
the next game?
No.
Cool. Well, let's move on to the next game here. There was a really cool game that I saw that IGN showcased, and it was called the day before. They showcased the announcement trailer, and this is a game that like was a mixture of like the Division and they said The Last of Us, but I would say more like Left 4 Dead kind of blend with the Division.
All right,
What
my
are your thoughts on this game?
my thoughts. Straight up my thoughts. It's Division meets freaking Daisy.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
I've
That's
never
the
played Daisy,
all
but
right,
yeah, that's
watching
actually
it, it's clearly just another DayZ clone. We're trying to capitalize on this market that hasn't had enough games in it yet to be bloated, but
right.
has lost interest as of late. Because
Hmm.
DayZ was like, a little quick flicker of a flame, and then they
Hmm.
tried to make it into a real game, and it just kind of took forever to get off the ground, and so it lost
Right. Well, it doesn't
traction.
help that they didn't do much
Yeah,
marketing on that game
and
either. Like
and
I
to be
forgot that
honest,
game even came out.
well, it wasn't a game; it was a mod, and then it
Right.
became a game. And the game itself, yeah, didn't have enough marketing. The mod had more word of mouth than the actual game. It felt like, but this
Yeah.
game, this looks to me like that meets the Division,
Hmm.
and I don't know. I've
Right.
been
We've already had our
I've
discussions on your
I've
take
been
on this
burned in the
game.
past by buying stupid games like that, and I regret my decisions to do games like that.
I think
Now,
this is a game
mind
that's
you,
only on PC as well.
what I it's only on PC.
I
I
think so
okay, well
because it
then
only popped up. I think for Steam. I think at the end of the
I
trailer.
think
I
so
could be
too. Yeah,
mistaken.
but I'm really interested to see the day before when we play it.
Hmm.
Um, I may not get it right away, but
Right.
I definitely would probably try it here because it just has some good concepts I like.
Right. I love the survival aspect of games, and I like zombie games, of course.
Hmm.
And it's an MMO basically too. So like you're traversing this potentially massive city trying to
It looked like
survive.
New York City.
Right. Yeah. It reminded me of like Division
Well,
One
no,
a
like
little bit.
watching past it, it looked like the Brooklyn Bridge in the background.
Yeah. It could be. I mean,
Yeah,
it would be.
so
It's a great city. It's a huge city,
it's a huge city. Yeah,
and they
it's
can always expand too. Like they
yeah,
can add different boroughs of New York and stuff like that. So like
or even go outside of it.
the potential is endless.
Yeah, I
It's,
agree.
it really is.
I definitely agree with that, and I think the game has potential from what it looks like. It looks pretty good, but I think we're gonna find that it might end up like the other games in the genre.
Mhm.
We're gonna get, not
Does
enough.
DayZ have proximity chat?
Yes.
Okay, because I hope that it seemed like from the trailer that's what it also has because you
Yeah.
could hear the other team approaching and talking, and I like that aspect because like it makes you like feel a little bit more immersed in the world because like
Yeah.
oh I gotta be personally be quiet
But
now.
if it's on
Not
PC, we're gonna be playing Discord, if people are gonna group up with their friends. It's not about meeting new friends anymore half the time.
right, but I think if we ever play it, I think we should do the proximity chat to just
Oh,
enhance the game.
I would definitely play that way. I would definitely like to play that way sometimes. It would be interesting.
That's a great one.
But yeah, no, I think the game is definitely has potential, but we'll have to wait and see until they give us more information on it.
Big Boo's Shimmy fan. We can definitely get some girls on here if you want.
Guy on the right looks like he bullied kids in high school.
Nah, never that. Definitely never
Nah.
that. Yeah, me and you were both pretty chill and to ourselves for the most part, for
Yeah.
sure. But
Nah.
any other last thoughts on the game?
No, not really.
He said he
He
bullied me.
bullied me.
Yeah.
I'm not a girl, but I'm pretty. Chat.
Chat starting. It's early.
It's early.
But one more game in the news here is Biomutant. It's a Zelda slash Far Cry mashup is what they're describing it as.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the gameplay you saw recently?
So looking at it, I was kind of unimpressed. From the trailer, the audio was kind of desynced from the action. It looks like it has potential. Like I added it to an Amazon list when they first announced like the pre-order. I didn't buy the pre-order. I
Right.
just added it to watch and see, and I thought it was going to come out like 3 years ago when it first got announced. I didn't realize it wasn't coming out
Yeah,
until
because the
2021.
pre-rendered trailers that they were showcasing looked
Yeah,
phenomenal. It looked like a damn near like
yeah.
movie.
And
You
now
know,
I'm
like
watching it, and it looks nothing like that.
mm-mm.
The Biomutant looks nothing like that anymore. It kind of looks pretty course. To be honest, if you would want to put it in the same category as Breath of the Wild, I wouldn't.
Right. I think they did it because of the world and the color palette, I guess.
Yeah.
That you would say,
Well,
and I think it's
gameplay is what I would say.
yeah,
Because the gameplay looks pretty similar. It's about like collecting weapons. It looks like something that you really didn't do in Breath of the Wild. It looks like you're gonna actually modify your weapons too. So I don't
right,
know. It almost looks Monster Hunter esque to me, in the fact that it's kind of like you going around hunting monsters. I'm waiting to see what the story may be when we kind
right.
of get a little more detail on the game.
Right, right. I mean, I think yeah, this is a game that we kind of wait and see and check out. Maybe even give it a try ourselves. I think this game looks like it may have like multiple worlds you can travel to. I mean, who knows? Like this game it's definitely like a sci-fi esque game. So
Yeah. It
we'll see.
and it looks like we're gonna be playing as small critters. Like one of the weapons I saw was a toothbrush.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't
So
know if
so
I've
they're
ever seen.
definitely like small animals, rodents, and things like that. But it looks like it's
Mutants.
what I thought was interesting was the fact that it's a melee game, like melee centric, like Eastern combat. Like it looked
Mhm.
like it's all about like karate, kung fu, jujitsu, whatever you want to use, whatever fighting style. But in addition to having guns, like the
Right, right,
character was comboing guns into actual melee combat, and some of the characters had Eastern style clothing or haircuts.
right, right. What is a chat thing? You guys are going to check this game out?
Yeah.
Yes or no? What do you
Any
think?
of you guys see Biomutant yet? Does it look interesting to you guys?
But I can't. Yeah, this game's been in development for at least 4 years.
Yeah.
So
It's
Biomutant Phil.
Biomutant. It was announced 2017, I think.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they
this is a franchise that's been around for a while. There's been previous games
yeah.
in this franchise. I've never played them, but
Oh, there has
I guess
been, like, I've never
yeah.
seen any games in the franchise. I thought it was a one-off game.
No, this is a game that's been in the works. Um, Phil says not so.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's
Well, maybe
definitely
maybe we can be the ones to check it out and let our audience and
maybe
community know about the game too.
maybe, but I
I'll check
definitely
it out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm fearful of the day before. I'm fearful of Biomutant. They have potential. They're interesting new concepts. They look okay,
Yeah.
but we're gonna
I
have to wait till
agree
we
with the
get
Spooky
closer.
Crew. You always got to be cautious, but I like to be cautiously optimistic
Yeah.
about games. Like I try to at least give them the benefit of the doubt until I
Hmm.
see and how I think of the game or how like it actually rates in the community
No,
and
definitely.
stuff like that, and then kind of go from there. But let's move on to our next topic of the week. We're going to talk about some gaming rumors. I think these ones here, some pretty cool ones that are kind of going on. We'll start here with PlayStation filed a new patent to allow friends to engage, aka mess with you while you're playing like VR games. What's your thoughts on this? Because I know you have a VR headset now as it is. I know it's
Well,
not PlayStation, but
so the thing is, like, this already exists. This way of playing games. Twitch does it all the time. Like, there's literally Minecraft Twitch integration,
Mhm.
so your guests can interrupt your game while you're playing.
Okay,
So there already exists these kind of things. So I'm guessing they're just trying to patent it before somebody else in
mhm.
their one of their developers may try to do it, so they may do it instead to try and make it
Right.
a cutting edge thing before a
Mhm.
developer fucks it up. They want to kind of push it out and then make the developers buy into it
Right.
essentially.
Right. I mean, it's a cool concept, but I think it's more along the lines of like, because like I know you talk about how Twitch can like help like do that integration, but I think it's like one of those like in-person kind of effects. Like I guess you're going to be able to connect your phone or tablet or whatever or
Mm.
controller, and you'll be able to like because obviously you can see the game up on the TV as well, what they're doing, and how they'll be able to interact. It'll be pretty cool to see what things that they can do. Maybe it's like some challenge or a mission you're trying to complete, and you can cause like weather or supernatural events or something.
Yeah, no, like that would be cool though, Phil. Like to be
Yeah,
honest, if
like
I
the idea.
was if I was in a game and I was cooking and all of a sudden Freddy Cougar busts in, I hope I can grab the thing and freaking beat his face in. Like that'd be cool to me.
You're right.
You'd play for. Yeah, now we got different opinions. But no,
Right, right.
I think it would definitely be an interesting concept, but I don't foresee it being anything new or unique. I just like
Right,
patenting something like that just seems dumb to me.
right. No doubt. And then actually this isn't on our itinerary, but this was just another rumor that came out related to VR. Apparently Apple's VR headset is rumored to be $3,000 when it comes out. And it doesn't surprise me, but yeah, that's great. Yeah. um chat's great today.
The Freddy
Um
Krueger.
but
Yeah, three
the
grand, right? You have to
yeah,
buy into fuck. Apple is literally a con show.
yeah.
You're
But
buying into exclusivity that everyone else is exclusive with. Like
right.
there is no exclusivity if everyone has it. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Well, apparently the technology has like 12 cameras and inside it's supposed to be like a VR AR headset of some sort. It sounds almost
It
like
better come with
the
a full fucking rig that I can walk around in.
right. It should at least come with a Mac Mini at
Yeah,
the minimum.
like, it's way too
3 grand.
expensive, shit like that, dude. Facebook's VR Oculus Rift 2, that's like 100, 200 some
Yeah,
dollars,
I forget which
299.
one let me bring up the article real quick because they were comparing it to somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
Do that.
I better be able to feel that booty at 3K.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, because we were talking
Apple's
about. They said that is almost 3 times more than Valve's Index headset, one of the most premium VR experiences on the
yeah,
market today. Yeah,
and I just don't see Apple doing anything useful because they haven't blown my mind in. When did the
yeah,
iPhone come out? How many years ago was that?
yeah, like '07.
There we go. So in 14 years, Apple hasn't blown my mind. 14 years ago was the last time I was like, "Whoa, that's cool,"
iPad,
and then we're done.
iPad. That was the
Uh,
first tablet, like legitimate tablet. That
yeah,
was actually great,
yeah, it didn't. It
and
was
it's still the number one
no.
tablet on the
I
market,
agree. It's a decent tablet. It's
especially the
just
Pro version. I love the Pro
yeah.
that I have here. This Apple Pencil here.
No, and
Yeah,
I agree with you, Spooky Crew. Creating, if Apple gets into the VR market, all they're gonna do is take a step backwards.
right. I mean, it just seems like the market that they're aiming for is like the rich people. Like
Yeah,
the average consumer is not going to be able to afford a $3,000 VR headset. Like
yeah,
VR in an everyday household now is already like next to none.
Yeah.
Because it's a $300 price tag. Why spend that when you could just buy a console?
And not only that, the $300 price tag doesn't include any games, really. It just has that initial experience. And then you also, if you want to do any meaningful gaming with VR, you have to have a computer.
Right, right.
So,
because like Oculus, you hook that up to a computer.
no,
right?
you hook it up to your phone first, and then
Okay.
with added software, you can connect it to your computer, and then just have your computer render everything, and the Oculus Rift be all it is a viewing platform. It doesn't have to do any rendering.
I never understood the point of VR gaming. I've never really done it, but like even like the whole
All right.
cardboard thing, like you put your phone
No,
into
no,
it.
no.
And
All
then
right, yeah,
the phone
that
it's
VR,
like-
that's not VR gaming. That's just ignoring people to the next level. But no, next time you come back to town, we'll play VR. We'll actually play VR, and I'll have
right,
you
I
play.
agree with Phil. It
Yeah.
probably will only be able to connect with the Mac.
Right? Yeah,
So now
and
we get to spend $3,000 on the VR headset. Now you have to spend
Yeah.
at least $1,000 on a Mac.
yeah, and or it'll connect to an iPhone, which is $800. So and it's only going to be the newest iPhone.
Maybe
Yeah.
because their ideas are to try to include a lot of their old devices. Even
Mhm.
the newest software works on like the iPhone like 6S or 7
Yeah.
or something.
And when you come back, I'll definitely show you what VR is about, because there's some great games out there, like actual immersive games. We played. Yeah. Yeah, we found, you can go into VR chat and the world is your oyster. Now, VR chat is for some sick and twisted people out there, but it's fun.
Right, right. I wonder if we'll ever reach a point, at least in our time frame, to be like the movie Ready Player One, where like you put a VR headset on and then like you go into this actual.
That would be that's getting to the singularity. So we're talking about singularity. We probably won't see singularity in our lifetime, but we'll definitely get close to it. Because right now they're already working on immersive game sets like that would bring us into a world similar to that of an anime, where it's an isekai, where you're going to Sword Art Online, for example, is a big isekai in the anime industry, and it's about people who put on these headsets and they lay in their bed and boom, their mind is transported into the MMO.
Interesting.
And they don't move their body, it's just their mind is now manipulated. It's not what you're seeing in front of you, it's in your head.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's the future.
Yeah.
But let's move on to another rumor here of this week. I don't know if it's official yet, but Gearbox is supposed to be being bought out by Embracer, aka it used to be THQ Nordic. What's your ideas on the development? Because like Gearbox creates the Borderlands games.
Well,
how do you think that?
Well, the interesting thing is Biomutant, I believe, is made by THQ Nordic.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna see games like if the last real game I think that THQ Nordic helped produce was Biomutant and Darksiders 3 in 2017. So I don't know, if they buy them, they're just a holding company, and I think we're gonna find it's gonna end up more like EA. These holder companies, I don't think really do justice to games. They industrialize games. They make them into They churn them out. They don't make quality games.
No, yeah, I agree. And yeah, right. Don't die in real life. Die in the game. Yeah, hopefully don't die in real life if you die in the game. That would suck. But Borderlands is actually owned by 2K Gaming, and apparently they came out in regards to these rumors saying like no matter what happens, we'll still have a partnership with Gearbox to produce and create the game regardless. So it shouldn't interfere with their day-to-day operations. Because Borderlands 3 is still a freshly new game. It's maybe a year old, and they constantly update it like every couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I think the franchise is cool and all, but maybe it might be also time for them to move on to a new franchise. Who knows?
Right.
But if they get bought out, I don't really know what Gearbox does on its own. Are they the ones actually developing Borderlands? I'm not.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, so they're the developers, the artistic. That's okay. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. Okay, so there you go. They make some quality games. I just hope that them being,
Pro Skater 3. I don't know if that's a game yet. I know they just
Yeah.
remastered 1 and 2.
Yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3.
Yeah, see
Yeah,
if there's a release date for that.
Pro Skater 3. That's 2001, dude. That was
Oh, I don't
the
even
yeah,
remember that one.
yeah. Pro Skater 3. They're up to 5 now.
Damn. Yeah, see,
Hmm.
they
Yeah,
obviously 1 and 2 was their best because they remastered both of those and
but
like here.
but then remember, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 was also developed by 7 studios or 7 developers. It wasn't
Right.
just Gearbox.
Which one?
Uh, Pro Skater 3. That had
Oh yeah.
7 developers, not just Gearbox. So, I don't know. I think if Gearbox, gets bought out, maybe they might have to become more money hungry, potentially, because it's being bought out by a game holder company. So,
Oh, okay. I didn't know they also did the Half-Life expansions. That's interesting.
okay,
Who does the Half-Life games? Isn't that
that's Valve.
Don't Nod?
Valve.
Valve?
Valve.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So, it's definitely.
There's been definitely a lot of shakeups in the market though, with all these game developers being bought up by other companies, like
Yeah.
Tencent buying companies, and
Well,
then
that's
if this
that's the thing.
happens, like Microsoft,
Once you
obviously.
once you make it as a developer, you either die in a holder company or you die on your own. Like
Right.
that's the
Rather have
thing.
another company take the risk.
You either fuck up and make a terrible game and die, or get bought by a holder company and they make you make a terrible game and you die.
Right.
Eventually every game publisher will come to an end, and who knows?
Unless they move on and evolve, like what Bungie had to do with from Halo to Destiny. That I think that's a
Well,
more
that
recent
wasn't that
example.
wasn't them really moving on and evolving. That was them trying to branch out into a new market, and whether or not it did or did not work, is for the market to decide.
Hmm.
So
Right. I mean, I think arguably Destiny is successful.
yeah, it's not like game breaking, game defining, but it's definitely a good
The whole
game.
new for console at least, the whole social spaces and like
Yeah, I
doing that
making
the
the
interconnect.
MMO
Right,
experience for consoles.
right. Like it was cool like, to have that feature in a game. So like you go from you seamlessly playing with your friends, and then like you join the moon or something like that, and next you know you see these random people just running around. And you're like, oh, cool, that's a real person, and
They're
stuff like
doing their
that.
missions too. Yeah.
Right. So it was cool, but then sometimes you can just have just you and your friends if you actually started up like a legit mission and stuff. So
Hmm.
the fact that it phased in and out like that, I
Yeah.
think that was next level for
Yeah, that's MMO quality work right there. So yeah, I agree that they did that, but I think Destiny 1 didn't really hit the mark until they had to re-release the game.
right. I think once they started to release their expansions, that's when that game took off.
Hey
Like the
Tubi.
Taken King and stuff. What's up, Tubi?
But yeah,
Um,
so
but and then, but yeah, other
so
than that though,
it's made like if the rumors are true and Gearbox is bought by Embracer, we'll just see what happens because it's a holding company and holding companies they are what they are. They're just same thing as like a hedge fund essentially. You know.
yeah, those are great, aren't they?
So
But yeah, let's move on to another franchise that's been like eh, teetering. I would say EA's Battlefield franchise.
I don't know. I think the Battlefield like Bad Company, great game series. All of the games for Bad Company have been awesome.
The last one
Um,
though, Bad Company 2, I was like
yeah,
2007
yeah,
maybe.
and I think it's their modern Battlefield. Like excuse my using this term. Their modern warfare Battlefield games. Those are they're okay. I don't think they can peel the crowd they need for Call of Duty, to be honest. Battlefield really just doesn't draw the same
Bad Company
people.
2,
And
2010.
yeah, and so with Battlefield, it's not a very competitive space as well. It's not
Right,
like for itself meant to be competitive because the games are so big. It's hard to really
right,
make a team of, 25, 30 people or whatever for a Battlefield game.
right.
That's
I mean,
you know,
they've tried to implement like 6-on-6, like team
yeah,
deathmatch, like to
but
try and
but
participate
it
or
it
compete
just
against
it
partners.
doesn't compete because the game is meant to be
Right.
more realistic with its guns.
It's more realistic and
Yeah,
tactile too,
so
or
it's a tactical.
tactical.
Yeah. So
Um,
I think I think Battlefield 6 is really the defining moment. Like I
Right.
remember Hardline, I think it was okay.
Harlan was
Yeah,
an
that's
interesting
what
concept because it was
yeah.
like cops versus robbers
Yeah. So
teams.
they had some interesting concepts, but I think breaking away from the modern the modern warfare style of
But their
Battlefield
last two
games.
games have been old school, like Battlefield
Yeah.
One,
And
which
those I
they're
think they did well. I
those are games that two of the biggest games that flopped
I
as well.
thought yeah.
Battlefield One was okay. That was during World War I, but the most recent one, Battlefield 5, because they're very terrible at naming these games, was
Well
set
yeah.
during World War II. Um,
Yeah.
so it's like that one definitely flopped. Like no one really played it. Their battle royale
Mhm.
never caught on. I never even tried it. Like it's
Yeah.
just all around
Like
like a
I
it's
for
like
a while there I saw what was it Battlefield 1 you said it was what it's yeah Battlefield ONE 1. So I saw that on Reddit all the time after it launched and for a year I saw stuff all the time about it. I think really it's the PC crowd that may have been keeping it going.
yeah, it definitely
Um
wasn't a
it's
console
not
shooter.
really a console as much as it is a PC, I think. It's very much
Yeah,
a the controls
the
lend
Battlefield
itself I think
4,
better for controller and mouse. But Battlefield 4, yes, that was a console. That
3
was
and 4 was it's a modern setting.
yeah.
So I played the heck out of that game and
Mhm.
Hardline too. I really enjoyed Hardline.
Yeah, I played 3 and 4. I played all the Bad Companies. I really liked them.
Yeah, Bad Company 2 was like such a great game because
Hmm.
the humor that was in that game was what drove that game and made that game a
Yeah.
lot of fun to play.
Yeah,
Because
the story was awesome.
yeah, the story
It
was
was
great,
fun.
and even like the multiplayer had like it still had that humor during the multiplayer stuff like that. So it was a fun game. I would love to see that franchise come back.
Yeah. But I'll give them a chance. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I don't know if I'll buy it because I don't really have friends to play with and it's right now if I'm going to play a more realistic shooter, I'd actually rather play Hell Let Loose, which is another game that's in early access right now, but is really good on PC. Like once you get your video card, that's one of the things I want to play with you is play Hell
Okay.
Let Loose. It's like a realistic shooter game and it's so good. And every moment of it is just as meme worthy. It's proximity chat
I'm gonna have to figure it
gameplay.
out. I don't even think I've seen videos of it.
Yeah, it's only on PC is why, but it's very realistic is the idea. Like to actually drive a tank, you need like 3 people. One guy is literally just in the thing driving this close. It's an actual simulate war simulator as opposed to a first person shooter game is the idea. When you accidentally shoot your teammate.
That would suck. Definitely suck. But do you think if this could be the year that Battlefield 6 could compete with Call of Duty at all?
um after the bad publicity that the current games have that some people keep talking about here, well, some of our guests keep mentioning how much they don't really like what is it Cold War or whatever.
Yeah,
So
Black Ops
yeah,
Cold War.
so it gives them a chance to come back into the market, but they're definitely not. They're in 2 different categories. If you're gonna play you're either Battlefield guy or you're Call of Duty guy. What kind of war games do you like? Is the idea, and
Frankly, ever since
and
COD
I
4, COD 4 and Battlefield has been intertwined and always compared to one to one. And I
yeah,
know they're two different style games,
and
but they're like
that's the
the
thing.
ideal first-person shooter game.
Yeah, and it's all about preference, really, because and with Battlefield trying to compete with Call of Duty, I think is a bad play on their market. If they want to really keep their crowd, it's all about that big open combat. It's vehicles. It's Medal of
Medal of Honor
Honor.
was
When's the
good.
last Medal of Honor game? Get out of here!
Hey,
Med-
Medal of Honor just had a release, or it's coming out for VR,
oh,
being created by Respawn Entertainment. So
I
that
didn't
might be a
even
game to
see
check
that.
out.
So
Yeah,
I would give that a go because I do remember Medal of Honor. That was a fun game series.
the
Like
Medal of Honor, I remember. I forget what it was called on the 360. Was a lot of fun. Their multiplayer was
yeah,
like pretty damn realistic, but it had a
yeah,
Call of Duty feel. It was
yeah,
like a good blend of Call of Duty and Battlefield, but it
yeah.
just the fan base isn't there, so it's not going
It's
to really take
exactly
off.
because you have to compete with the games that are already in the market that have these drone-like followers.
Right.
Yeah,
And Medal of Honor has been one of those games that's been out for a long time.
yeah,
PS1 days at least,
yeah.
even maybe even before that.
Hmm. And so I think honestly, Battlefield 6, this is its year to really try to get back into the market, but I think they need to stick with their niche appeal. It's about that open world vehicle
Yeah, massive.
realistic combat. It's about that 30 on 30, 50 on 50 gameplay that you expect, not 6 on 6, 5 on 5.
Right.
Whenever last time I played Call of Duty that had any more than 10 people, I think it was, it becomes a clusterfuck. It's literally just
Call of Duty games, yes, but the new ones with Modern
there's
Warfare, I forget what those ones were called. I actually think it was just called Ground War. They just kept that name, but it was like an actually big
yeah.
open map like Battlefield and had vehicles and everything, and it played just like Battlefield, but with Call of Duty's like actual gun gameplay.
And
then Cold War has the same thing too
yeah,
with
and
their.
the thing I really like about Battlefield, and I think the underrated thing about it is, yeah,
Mag. Yeah,
Mag.
Mag was a
Oh
good,
God, I forgot all
ahead of its
about that
time.
game. Mag was way ahead of its time. I forgot all about that. When
Yeah,
was
that was
that?
a game that allowed. It was like 64 on
Yeah,
64 or something.
wasn't Mag on like the 360 and like it was super?
No,
I
it,
thought,
it was a PlayStation exclusive. It was on
oh,
the PS3.
that's what it was. Yeah, and I remember my friends playing it, and I didn't play it because I didn't have the PS3. That's what it
Right?
was.
Yeah, I never had it either.
I
I played it
saw
all.
some
I
people
played it.
playing it.
You remember my friend JC?
Yeah, that's
He
what it.
had the PS3 and had me come over, and we were playing Mag all the time. And that game was a lot of fun. But like,
Mhm.
no lie, like it was 64 on 64, but the map was like the size of like Texas, and like you'd be running for like a half hour
Yeah,
before you even see someone. Like it really felt like what Battle Royale, like PUBG, feels like.
yeah,
You run around for 30 minutes and then you don't see nobody. You
yeah.
finally run in the way you die, and then you got to do the whole thing over. That was the problem with that. Their
Hmm.
map design was awful. The concept, the ideas, flawless. Gameplay or the gunplay
Yeah,
was good too,
and that's
but
the thing I like about Battlefield. It's not about like they have these huge maps, but the map, the actual combat is a combat zone. It's not like you're in a zone and it's either moving this way or this way, and you've got that where combat is confined. And if you're outside of that, fuck all, dude. You ain't seeing shit.
right.
You may find a
Right.
helicopter come into your back line and just start shooting your guys, but like there's that really that experience. Whereas Call of Duty, in my previous experiences, I haven't played in a while. It's always been like people are respawning all over the map. It's not like this is my side, this is your side. Let's slap each other in the center, and it's about trying to work your way around your opponents. It's like where the fuck
Yeah.
is this guy gonna spawn, and am I gonna die?
Right, Call of Duty's spawns have always been one of its worst aspects. If
Yeah.
it had any bad aspects of a game, it's always been the spawn
So
system.
yeah, the worst part is somebody spawns up with a shotgun and just goes boom, and you're like, oh great.
I just spawned into I spawned into I spawned die spawn die.
Yeah.
Like that one meme or TikTok or whatever. He's
Yeah.
like spawn die spawn die spawn die.
Yeah. The endless
Raging.
cycle.
Leads to a rage quit.
Yeah, it really does, and that's one of the reasons I quit. I would spawn and die, and I'm like, and then somebody go like, "Oh, dogs are coming!" Great, dogs. Spawn, die, spawn, die.
Upper gunner inbound. AC-130 above. Like
Doot, doot. Yeah, the one time I got a nuke, that was fun.
yeah, I love going for those. It sucks that Cold War didn't have any, but the newest Modern Warfare did. I never got one. Never really tried for them either, like I used to back in the day. Like Modern Warfare 2 days, you get Harrier, Chopper Gunner, Nuke.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah,
And then Modern Warfare 3's Moabs, easy.
yeah.
Call of Duty Ghost, you get Chem Strikes, easy. Modern Warfare 2019, impossible. But let's move on to our last rumor here, or some, I guess, kind of news. Halo Infinite, the developers has said the game is basically all but completed, and right now they're just taking the time to polish the game.
But yeah, one sec
We've
here.
heard this before, so
One sec here about Tubi, just to engage what he said. No, I do agree. So, Escape from Tarkov being
Oh,
one of
yeah.
those games that's coming out right now, like in beta, I think still. Not
Yeah.
it's not.
I see
Yeah,
a lot of streamers play that.
yeah. So, Escape from Tarkov is like meant to be like it's
A realistic battle
Yeah.
royale.
it's supposed to be like DayZ, but a battle royale essentially, or not DayZ, Arma maybe, like kind of like Arma, DayZ, one of these
PUBG.
games where you have to really, well, not even PUBG, because PUBG is a little less realistic in the fact that you know how much ammo you have, things like that. Whereas this one, you start shooting, you have to actually pull out your clip and look at it. Like it's a lot of work for a game, but I think it's definitely an interesting concept, but I think it's gonna flop, to be honest.
Tarkov.
Yeah, Tarkov is gonna flop.
I don't know. I mean, the way the streamers are hyping it up, it's going to be like any other game that's going to have this right wave, and hopefully, as long as they keep continuing with the content.
Hey man, I've seen you play shooters before. Like, I think you're okay at shooters, my friend. I don't think you're that bad at shit. But so
Yeah,
no,
no,
back to
for
the
sure.
topic at hand though. Halo Infinite. Uh,
Hopefully, this isn't Cyberpunk
yeah,
2.0.
yeah. So the developers say it's finished, and we're just polishing it.
And again,
Are they
to talk about it,
polishing a
it's a game
turd?
that's on
Yeah,
two generations of
yeah.
consoles.
And
It's on
and
the
and
Xbox
and
One.
that's my thought. My thought is, are they polishing a turd, or are they actually polishing a gem? We've
Right.
seen it, and what was the last Halo game like?
5 was awful.
What Halo?
Multiplayer was
There
okay.
was no 5. It was Halo 4 we're talking about here. There was no 5. But like
Right,
even
right.
Halo 4.
But the thing is, I think the problem with 5 is 5 they tried to do something different and very ambitious
Yeah.
with having you're no longer playing as Master Chief the whole
Yeah.
game. Which granted, yeah, you played as Arbiter in 3 and whatever else,
Yeah.
but
But it
um
worked in 3.
yeah.
It was a lot. Well, not
But in
only
this
did you
game,
no in Halo 2 you played as Arbiter. Halo
yeah,
3 you played split
right,
you if you played split screen, one of you was Arbiter and one of you was Master
right.
Chief. But
But
like
in this game, it's like you were majorly uh Locke.
okay.
It the good guys slash bad, like we didn't need, like that was the it was so confusing playing that game
Yeah.
because like all the marketing material was Chief is rogue. Chief went rogue. He's no
Yeah.
longer a good guy. So they already framed, and you just messed up your and such an iconic character by making him seem like a bad guy. And then you play
Yeah.
the game, it's nothing like that. You find out like, oh crap, he's really just a good guy. He's kind of have a mental health issue, and he's trying to save
Yeah.
Cortana again. So like, but most of the time, I feel like you're playing like 60% you're playing as Locke, and then like 40% you're playing as Master Chief, who you want to play as.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they went wrong.
And not only that, I think the series my biggest problem with the entire series of Halo right now is you've had this staple content going straight through, and then in 4 we kind of really start tipping the scale. Like, okay, now we're buddies with the Flood in one in one moment, we're not buddies with them in the other moment, and then we're playing as, oh, now there's more Spartans. Wait, I thought like the Spartan project was running out of Spartans. I thought Master Chief was one of the last
It's
few,
one of the
and now
last
you're like, here's 10 of them right here, and you're like, what do you mean?
In Halo 4, that's when they kind of like fully introduced the Forerunners as
Yeah,
the bad guys, I think, right?
yeah, exactly.
Which were
Because
which were a
you
really
had
cool concept because Forerunners
yeah.
they looked like pretty dope bad guys,
Hmm.
but the story involving them wasn't the greatest.
That's true, boss. The Spartan threes were around for a while, but like you had all of these when mankind first really collided with the Covenant. A lot of the
Yeah,
Spartans were just dying on the front lines because they never fought plasma. They were meant to pretty much control the people. Yeah.
okay.
So I think there's a lot to. I want to revisit the series. I'm definitely going to replay when the Master Chief Collection gets almost near completion. I haven't even played 5. I played 4 and I was like,
Oh, you've never played 5 at all?
I played it for like an hour when you brought your Xbox One around the one day, and I was like, what the fuck am
Oh
I
yeah.
playing? What is this shit? And like,
Yeah,
and then also
it's
the
really weird.
superpowers all the fucking time. That drives me nuts.
Mhm.
I hate the superpower meta. Like, oh, I just have a shield.
And
It's
now
like,
I have a jetpack,
like
and now I don't,
when
and
they
now I get
added in
one pack.
equipment to the game, that was one thing. But then they're like permanent equipment that you can use all the time, and it was available in Reach. Where did it go from Reach to 3? So I think we're getting to the point where Halo may have jumped Halo may have jumped the shark at this point.
Right.
And I
I mean,
think
I
Microsoft.
think, but going back to the actual topic here, Halo Infinite though is it's a open world s game. Like apparently you can approach like a mission and do the missions like however you
that
want.
that is the problem. Halo is not an open world game. Halo has
I like
always
how
been
they
a
implemented
mission.
it in some of the games where like,
Yeah,
which I guess is kind of how they're still doing it now. Like you have to go take out two turrets. Which one do you want to go take out first?
yeah,
That's cool, I guess. But like,
yeah,
if I got this mission, and this mission, which one do I want to do right now?
yeah.
I
I
don't know if
don't, that
meant
stuff.
for that.
Yeah, it's Halo's always been a linear story, and to mess with the format, it's like what Tubi said last week when we talked about Resident Evil. You
Hmm.
know, the issue we have here is they've taken the formula and shit on it, and they just rebranded Halo. It, it's
Right, right.
it's I want to say they're trying to they're trying to monopolize on these things that the community is moving away from. Open world games are getting less and less iconic for a lot of people because they become bloated messes of crap. You either
Yeah, and
do this.
sometimes I think it's overwhelming too.
Yeah, it's fake Halo, exactly, Tubi. It is fake Halo. Halo Infinite, I think, is going to be one of the biggest flops for the franchise, if not the nail in a coffin.
Right. I mean, I hope they can make this work for a Halo game because, like we mentioned before, Halo Infinite is supposed to be the new platform for Halo. Like they don't have another sequel in the works. They're going to keep adding to it, whether it's DLC like for
Yeah,
story and
and that
multiplayer
and
and
that's
stuff.
the problem. Halo has always been a story.
Hmm.
Introduce bad guy, introduce problem, introduce character. All right, now go. And it's always been Master Chief kicking ass, taking names, solving problems. Literally rides a fucking nuke into an into the Covenant ship, and he's just like, "This is gonna hurt." Click.
Yeah.
Like you're looking for these badass moments, not
Or
open
like
world combat.
I miss like those a lot of the Halo games, like the last
Hmm.
mission, like your adrenaline is like going crazy because especially I
Yeah.
think it was Halo 3 when you're driving the Warthogs on that platform or whatever and you're trying to get to the Pelican by the end of it.
Hmm.
That was like one of the hardest missions to complete on Legendary
Yeah,
by far.
just wait now. They add 7 collectibles along the way, and you have to stop this it's cinematic scene to just read a little piece of paper they hid on the side. Fuckers, dude. I open world Halo. I love, and the thing is, like, I was. I'll say this. I was a Halo fanboy. I am no longer a Halo fanboy, but I still am like,
You're
I want
again
to.
cautiously optimistic about this.
I'm cautiously optimistic because I want it to succeed, but I'm
Right,
angry to hear the format.
right, right. I mean, hopefully, maybe they do a mixture where like some missions are kind of open worldy, and then like some missions are like straightforward.
I
I think
honestly,
that.
if anything, the only way it would be redeemable is if it's not an open world map, but it's a linear story, but you can go to different, like along the way, you're like, oh, okay, I've entered in Arena 1, and it's just this big open area, and you have, say, 3 different Covenant forts that you have to deal with. Because Halo has done that in the past, where it's like, you can drive this way, or that way. Doesn't matter
Right.
which way you go,
Yeah, even in the
by the
original Halo, when you had to go rescue
yeah,
the drop pods
exactly,
and stuff like that, you had to go
exactly.
rescue the
That
grunts.
and that gave you the option to do it in order if you wanted to, or you could have gone out of order. But if you went out of order, you could still have gotten picked up at the first spot if you finished it last.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good example too. Yeah, even a lot of other companies in the
Oh
news.
yeah, I saw that fucking on the other day. A Porsche SUV. Like
Yeah,
I was
they
like,
just
wait,
they
Porsche
created
makes
something new and then put
yeah.
the name on it.
But yeah,
And
and that's what's happening here with Halo. We've got this iconic experience, and then they're like, bet you I can sell it with.
we're gonna do something completely different, but throw the name on it.
Bet you I can make it sell. And it's like, all the formula says people like open world, Halo, guns, it'll sell. And I'm
Right.
like, no.
I
That's
wouldn't be surprised if this Halo has some sort of battle royale in it.
if it has a fucking battle royale, I may
I
actually
would
go.
not be surprised.
This freaking podcast is gonna go nuclear the day after it comes out, and I find out what bullshit they have in it. I'm gonna go
Right, right.
fucking nuclear in this chat, dude.
I hope they have Forge. I always enjoy Forge.
Uh, Forge is overrated anymore. They ruined Forge in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully they can. All right, base building was fun. I like doing the
Yeah,
base building.
I
building
did I
battles.
did enjoy base building. It was fun back in the day in Halo 3. Halo 4, Forge kind of got bloated in my opinion.
I mean, I like how they enhance. Like you can like incrementally shift and change things and
Yeah.
be a little bit more accurate. As like Halo 3, or just like place. Let me
Yeah.
just guess it. Or
I
having
agree.
stuff
And you
close.
had some really cool stuff that they did. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. What I liked is the custom games in Halo 4 where people are like, "All right, we're going to make a game mode and you're going to play the shit out of it and love it." And it's like zombies. They use the zombie game mode. You can't die as a zombie, but you can die as a human. And if you die of your own accord, you're dead. Well, I remember when they freaking did the Jenga tower and stuff would fall and you had to just stay on the tower as it slowly fell
Oh,
apart.
yeah, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
There
fucking
was a lot of
yeah.
custom games in
Tubi's right. Tower defense was fucking amazing in that shit.
right.
You know, I
No,
love tower
there was a lot of
defense.
great memories with Halo, but just a couple more questions here before we move on to topic three, because we're
Yeah.
almost about an hour into this. Do you think there's going to be expected any more delays between now and launch of holiday season?
No, I don't think so. I think they're gonna want it to sell, and they're gonna want
Right.
it to
Well,
sell during the on season. So
right,
most games are
and the
gonna.
idea is because this year is actually like the 20th anniversary of the original Halo.
Yeah.
I think it's 20 years. So like they have it perfectly now. Like it's on par to release like the same time. They might release it the same
I
day
I
that
mean
the first Halo came
I
out,
mean
20 years
20
apart.
years is a great time to kill a series. I think 20 years in existence is a great capstone moment to kill a series.
Right. So you're not. It sounds like you're no longer cautiously optimistic. You're cautiously
Yeah,
pessimistic.
I'm completely pessimistic. I want the game to succeed, but I know it won't.
Yeah, we'll see. If now it's a wait and see. But finally, let's talk about our last gaming topic. We're gonna talk about some game releases that were announced and at least one that's upcoming. We're gonna start here with a cult classic, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I know we talked about it
Yeah.
before, but it's being released May 14th of 2021. What's your thoughts on this game now that they released a
Well,
trailer and
why don't I
showcased some?
ask you first? You seem more interested in Mass Effect. So I've played 2 and 3. I
Mhm.
know
You
you
never
haven't.
played the first one,
I didn't play the first one. I started it, but I never got through it because I
hmm
didn't get to play it until like 10 years after it came out. And I was
right?
like,
Well, that was my
I
problem too because
yeah.
I've never played any of them,
hmm
and I think this is like a perfect time for me to be able to
Yeah. And
try this franchise because it's updated 4K visuals. Like they fixed
yeah,
a lot of the bugs and stuff like that. Hopefully,
I would definitely try to give it a go again, but it goes Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3, right? It's not like any of the other games, or is it the other
no,
games
it's
as
just
well?
one, two, three.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, ending with 3 is kind of where the series should have ended anyway. So, I think it would be a nice addition to just play 1, 2 and 3, but I don't know.
Right.
I
They're
feel
doing a
like
spooky crew. I mean, that's what I heard. Like
yeah.
Mass Effect has always been a great franchise,
Yeah,
except for like the controversial stuff in Mass Effect 3. But
the
and then
ending,
after
yeah.
that, it was like a shit show. But I for some reason like that was during a time where I was just Call of
Yeah.
Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, and never
Well,
got a
that's
chance to
well,
play
Call of
other
Duty,
games.
Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Halo.
Right.
But no, I think it would be nice to play it, but I don't
Mhm.
know if I want to invest that many hours because it's going to be a lot of hours.
It's a long, definitely a long
All
game
three
for
games are
sure.
very long, and if you really want to play it genuinely, you got to play through 1, import it into 2, play through 2, import it into 3, where your
Right.
decisions don't matter.
Right.
So, I think it's interesting that they're going to be releasing it in May. But I think it's just a money grab, to be honest.
Well, I think partially it's a money grab, but I think it's also helping the people like me who have never played it catch up because the new Mass Effect comes out and it's going to be Mass Effect 4, and apparently it takes place after 3.
Yeah,
So if you don't know what the heck happened in 1, 2, and 3, you hop in 4, and it might be an entry point where like you don't have to play 1, 2, and 3, but like
yeah.
it helps if you played 1, 2, and 3
Well,
to
and the
know what
crazy
the
thing
next
is,
is.
they ended 3 with a choice. So how is 4 going to continue off of that without you importing a
I
save
think they're
file
going to probably have to make like one of the decisions like actual canon
or retcon it all?
or
That
that.
that that would be it. I think that'd be interesting too, just to retcon it all and say,
You imagine just like starting off
yeah,
4 and replaying like the last mission and like everything has changed,
yeah.
or something like that. Like you do like a time travel
You
thing. I don't know.
actually died in the ending, so you were in heaven or in purgatory at the end there, and it was just your mind playing tricks on you. Yeah, that'd be cool, but like, I don't know. I might give it a go, but if it's like a $60 price tag, it's not worth it to me.
I think it probably will be a $60 game. The fact that you're getting 3 fully remastered games, I wouldn't be surprised.
Fully remastered.
Right. I mean, time can only tell. Let's see how
Yeah.
that turns out. But another game that was just given a release date is MLB The Show. It's coming out technically April 20th on 2021. But if you get the Legendary Edition, whatever it's called, it actually has Jackie Robinson on the cover, which is really cool to see. Granted, he was the guy that broke the color barrier for baseball.
Mhm.
For those if you don't know your history, know now.
Now
But
you
this is
know.
a game. This is a game that has always been a PlayStation exclusive since the first game, and now this will be the first year that they're bringing it to Xbox. and I'm really looking forward to it because Xbox did not have an authentic simulation of baseball since MVP 2005,
Mm-hmm.
and that was produced by, of course, EA. So, I mean, I know you're not big into sports games,
Yeah.
but I'm really looking forward to this. I've always been a huge baseball fan. I probably should have took baseball personally more serious than basketball, but that's another story for another time. But this would be pretty cool to have another sports game on my system that I can play and check out. And baseball, I think, could be a lot of fun on a game. It's not as boring as what some people may think, especially if
Yeah.
you're actually playing the game.
No, if you're playing the game, it's one thing. Watching the game, I think it's pretty fucking boring. I'll be honest.
People who are not into baseball, yes, I can
Yeah,
understand
you
why.
can hate on me all you want, but like hockey's got it beat. You know, I love watching I like going to a boxing match, and sometimes hockey breaks out.
Right,
But
right.
like
That's a good
baseball,
one.
you know, it's just like I don't know. I guess catching the ball is cool, but you have to like be there for that. You ain't catching me.
Yeah, I think it's the downtime. A lot of like the in between stuff is what slows the pace of the game. In
Yeah.
some baseball games, like if it's a super competitive game and they're going back and forth, it can go 3-4 hours long,
Hmm.
which is a long time. But there's also a game called cricket that can go on for fucking days.
Yeah.
Or
Well, then that's also invented by the British, and you know what we think about the British. Not all their ideas are, pretty good.
right.
But
So, but what are your thoughts? Like not necessarily on the game, but finally a PlayStation exclusive that's coming to Xbox. What's your thoughts on that kind of transition, especially coming from a company who doesn't like to play or play fair
I
and work
think
together?
I think it's only goes to show how bad PlayStation is right now, where they are in the market, how much they're actually hurting.
You think they're hurting?
I
Even though
I, I think the
I think they're
place
doing good.
I don't think they're doing as well as Microsoft is. That's the thing.
Yeah, probably not right now. I think the upward trend right now is for Microsoft, and PlayStation's kind of like on
Yeah,
that, like
PlayStation has
almost at its peak.
Yeah,
I think before
PlayStation
it's
has
about to
to.
start crashing.
Yeah, we got to see PlayStation get its exclusives, its real PlayStation 5 exclusives, because that's everything. That's what makes the console. Like PS4 was good, PS3 kind of wasn't a great console, but PS2 was great. And the things that made those consoles great are the things you find on them. Like there are games that I can only find on PlayStation 2, and they were amazing games.
Sly
Dark
Cooper?
Cloud, like Dark Cloud,
Dark
Sly
Cloud.
Cooper. Yeah, these games were awesome games. Dark Cloud 2, sorry, not Dark Cloud 1, but Dark Cloud 2.
What was the other game we played? I think it was like Jade Cocoon or something like
Jade,
that. That
I
was a good
played
game.
Jade Cocoon 2 a ton. Dude, all right, I need you to remember the freaking game you deleted my save file of. That
Slay.
Slay. That's what it was. Oh my.
XLAI.
All right. Thank you. I could
I
never remember that fucking game, and I wanted to get it on an emulator. You have
wanted
just
to
made
play
my
that so
fucking
bad.
day. I will play the shit out of that. I remember that game.
Yeah,
Holy
that was like a
crap.
mech robot like arena game.
Yeah,
It was
and
really
that's the
good.
thing. It's an exclusive to PlayStation. That's
Right.
what made.
Every
That's
time
what
I'm out
makes
at like
their console.
a store that does like retro games, I always look for it. Never can find it. It's such a hard game to come by.
Well, and Tubi, you're right. That's the other thing. PlayStation had a gem, a fucking gem, and then they're like, "Yeah, the PSP, we don't like it anymore."
Right? They missed out on that market, and here
It
comes the
was
Switch.
literally
Takes over
able.
entire
The
market.
the PSP was literally able to stream games from your console, like a Stadia, essentially.
Right. It was a console ahead of its time, and PlayStation was like, nope, sorry.
Like, and I wanted to get one for the longest time, and then when they were like, "Yeah, we're just gonna cancel the dev on this," and I was like,
Yeah, we're just gonna
"You
dis-
idiots! This is how you compete with Nintendo! You fucking idiots!"
Right, and now look, the
Ah,
Switch is out.
the Switch is killing it.
The PlayStation could have made a PlayStation Portable just like the Switch.
Yeah.
And made it like you can hook it up to the TV and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. They fumbled it and messed up. Yeah, Xbox I think is on the upwards.
Yeah,
trend.
Xbox
PlayStation's
is-
on the flattening.
Yeah,
part.
until PlayStation 5 gets its exclusives or has something to make them go, we're gonna see PlayStation kind of be the
Mhm.
the stepchild
Right.
console.
And honestly, I think PlayStation will still sell more consoles just because they're are that many fanboys and they have a bigger
Well,
market
not
overseas.
yeah, that's the thing. We're talking about the Japanese markets, and we gotta hope that the Japanese games really come through for the PlayStation. But the Japanese are also really into the Switch right now. So like
Yeah,
Nintendo is allowing a lot more developers over time. Like you don't have to be with Nintendo to do Nintendo stuff. And now people are like, I'm gonna develop for the Switch and the
okay.
PS5.
I didn't know that. Tubi said that PSP Go was like the Switch. You can dock it and stuff. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
I
and
forgot about the PSP Go. To
yeah,
be honest with you,
the PSP Go. I didn't even know. I only knew about the PSP.
and the Vita.
Yeah, and the Vita. And I just they seemed like great ideas, and by the time I had money in my pocket to buy one, they were gone. They weren't really like I would have bought into a dead console before they killed it.
Right, right,
Yeah.
exactly. Right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Switch was just a fun. Basically, they mastered the Wii U and made it portable
Yeah.
because the Wii U is practically a Switch, except you can't take it on the go.
Yeah, like the Wii U was one of the greatest concepts to bring, as I've said all the time. The Dreamcast was before its time, and the
Oh yeah,
Dreamcast had the way of bringing a couch co-op game in front of you, so you had literally your cards in front of you if you were playing a game with cards.
right. Yeah, unfortunately, no one really
Yeah,
remembers the Dreamcast. Unfortunately,
sadly, yeah.
that was another console that just didn't have
Phil,
the magic.
Phil literally typed that before we said anything about it. Yeah, like
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. You read my mind. That's what I was gonna say. Is like we have these great consoles that have great ideas. It's the execution of these companies that's really killing it right now. It's
PlayStation.
and I think honestly until we see something better, PlayStation's gonna lose its exclusives to Xbox. Xbox is just gonna start getting everything because
Right,
everyone's like,
especially with
yeah,
Microsoft finalizes its transaction with Bethesda and all of that, and
yeah,
because I know they can't really talk about it now, but they said that each game is going to be a game by game choice if it's going to be exclusive to the
yeah,
console or not. Once they start doing that, that is going to definitely sway because Bethesda owns so many franchises and they start making these new games and they have like 24 different studios.
yeah,
And once these games start rolling out, because these games are going to start rolling out over the next 2, 3, 4 years, and it's going to, I think, personally believe, is going to leave PlayStation in the dust.
yeah.
PlayStation's like, games are still going to probably be gems. Don't get me wrong; they have great franchises as long as
Yeah,
they keep
they're just not going to be
developing
able to
them.
compete as well anymore. Sony is really
Right?
not doing well.
No, yeah. But let's move on to the last game
Exactly,
here.
exactly, Spooky. It's not that they weren't bad. It's just they didn't sell, so then the company stopped
Marketing was
supporting them,
awful.
so then they became worse. Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah, I agree. The marketing was pretty bad.
Yeah, the Switch wasn't meant to be a portable meant marketed like it was marketed as both portable and your home console. So it was a way of taking your DS and your Wii U and going
Here you go.
one.
And I love the marketing. Like when they were
Yeah.
first showcasing it, like how you can set like two switches to play side by side to
Hmm.
play like Mario Party or whatever the
Yeah,
Mario game
using
was to
the
create
NF.
different levels and
Yeah,
stuff.
with NFC
Oh,
and stuff to talk to each
or
other.
2K, like being able to they were playing NBA 2K at the basketball court,
Yeah.
like in between games and stuff like that. Like little stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like the marketing was just perfect
Yeah,
because 2K is on the rise, and be able to put a game
and
like that on a portable game
yeah,
console.
and the thing that really surprises me as well is how Nintendo runs their company too. Like when the Wii U, I think it was, didn't sell, the CEO just cut his salary instead of firing people or instead of like stopping development. He was just like, I don't pay me. We're gonna get this to work. I'll take a cut until we get this to work. So he just cut his salary and put that money into dev to get it to succeed. Like I think
Right,
right now PlayStation isn't really it's trying to rake in dough without giving much effort. It's relying
right.
too much on what it has, not what it could do.
Yeah. I think I don't think PlayStation is trying to be too innovative anymore. I think that's the problem. I think that might hurt them in the long run.
Yeah,
But then again, they might have something in the works. They have not even said anything to us,
yeah,
and they might come out like, "Boom, here we are," and then, oh
definitely.
man,
So
PlayStation's on top
we'll
again.
definitely see where we go here soon, but I'm hoping that we'll see some sort of exclusive to make the PlayStation shine.
Right, right. But let's talk about one more game here before we move on to our
Fine.
non-gaming
Yeah.
topic of the week. Little Nightmares 2. It's a little bit of a smaller game that's coming out. It's coming out February
I
11th.
remember Little
It's gonna
Nightmares
launch.
1 actually. I didn't play it, but I remember its launch. It was so tiny and it looked very interesting,
Mhm.
but then I forgot about it because after it released, they just stopped. There was no more announcements for it and
Right.
it was like
But
a firework. It
it's
was
one of
like,
the biggest indie developed games of all time
mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
And the fact that they released Little Nightmares 1 as a free Games with Gold on Xbox last month of January was a great introductory to the new game that's coming out. Like obviously that was marketed and planned
Yeah.
for a reason to give people a chance. Like, hey, you remember this game? New one's coming out. Go play it for free. Like I personally never played it. I have the first one because I have Xbox with Gold and stuff. So I'm definitely going to check it out because it's not necessarily like a horror game given the title. It's like more of like an atmospheric, like psychological
It's
game.
supposed to be kind of like I believe you're a rag doll or something like a rag doll,
Yeah,
and you're trying to escape these people, like these batshit crazy people who like just kill you on the spot.
right, right. It gives me like Inside vibes. Remember
Uh,
that game?
I
That's
yes,
another indie developed game, and the other one was Limbo.
yeah,
Those two games. So it has
Limbo.
like a similar vibe to that.
To me, it also reminds me of almost like I want to say, what are those? What's that PlayStation game with the little stitched together guys?
You're talking about Unravel?
Unravel, I think maybe.
That wasn't a PlayStation game, but yeah,
No, no, no.
that's
No, there was a PlayStation, like the PlayStation.
oh, little not Little Big Planet, is it?
Yeah, Little Big Planet. Thank you, Tubi. Thanks, Phil. Yeah,
Oh wow, I didn't
yeah,
even really read it.
yeah.
Good job.
Little like it
Thanks, guys.
reminds me of Little Big Planet in sort of who you are, and you're kind of it's a platformer to get through the world. But then
Right.
they add just a little touch of like that sort of thriller, not horror, but thriller.
Yeah, like thriller suspense, that
Yeah.
combination. Because like you're just like being suspenseful because you don't want to get caught, and like yeah, it's an interesting game. I'm gonna
Hmm.
check it out for sure. So I assume you said you haven't played the first one yet either.
No.
Okay, I mean I'm sure it's a cheap game anyway on Steam or wherever you can
Yeah.
have access to it.
Yeah. It should be pretty easy to get a hold of if it's
Especially
something
with
you're
the first one
interested.
coming out too.
Yeah, the
I'm sure
second
there's
one.
some side
Yeah.
discount. But any last thoughts on that game at all?
No, I'm interested to see. You know, we're in a dry spell for video game releases here. Like,
Mhm.
we're getting some remakes and things like that, but the big release schedule is probably going to happen around spring and then into the summer.
March is yeah, March and April I think is that's when the
Yeah.
games start coming out. Um, but all right, man. Enough of the gaming topic. Let's move on to our non-gaming topic of the week.
So,
This week we want to try and get the audience a little bit more involved here. We want to try and have like an open discussion about like current events, world news. Does the audience have any certain topics they would like to talk about at all?
you know, and while we're waiting for people to kind of respond, if there's anything that they, wanted to talk about or mention, I thought it was interesting this week that, I kind of, the insurrection that happened 2 weeks ago, um, the fact that the insurrection in here has sort of shaken the foundation for democracy across the world. And we can see that in
Right.
places like Myanmar. This week the military took over Myanmar. The military just said, "Yep, we're in control now." So
Right. They
now it's
basically put the entire government officials in like custody.
yeah, and any civilian like it's illegal to own walkie-talkies in Myanmar right now because that's civil disobedience because you can start a riot or you can start collecting people together to rebel.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, the the people's like the liberation group, the civilians that are rioting and stuff, their leader just got arrested for owning walkie-talkies.
That's crazy. I feel like that's crazy to think about. Like, if it's a democracy and it's supposed to have like freedom and stuff like that. I mean, I know everyone's
Yeah,
democracy is
and
very
that's right.
different. Like,
And we already had the fucking it was already a military dictatorship, got democracy, and then oh look at America, their democracy's shaken. Donald Trump doesn't believe the election was won, so he's just gonna instill riots, and they do, and they're like
if they do, why can't
fuck
we?
democracy. If we have the power, we win, right?
Yeah,
China,
that'd be crazy.
more
Yeah,
control in the region.
China definitely
Yeah,
seems like a very bad
yeah.
country. Like,
Like China right now, I think is very destabilizing in the region. I think they're very much, if you are democratic, we don't like you. If you're, yeah,
right,
exactly. A
free
free
Hong
Hong
Kong,
Kong,
yeah.
dude. That
That's
whole
crazy. Like
shit.
anytime, like if they start protesting, it's like it's bad. Like you're not allowed to
Yeah,
protest. Like I don't know their rules and laws and their way
yeah,
of living and stuff, but like you should be allowed to do that. That should just be a given like human right. Like screw your democracy or whatever kind of government you're running.
yeah.
That has to be a human right given.
And like the crazy thing right now to me, like the world doesn't want to intervene. Like even Britain, they released Hong Kong, and they said you have to follow these rules, or you can't have Hong Kong. And China's like, fuck the rules, and Britain's like, okay, whatever,
Yeah,
don't do that. And like,
right. It's
and,
because but what is England going to do objectively against China in the grand scheme of things without their allies, aka us?
yeah, and so like
They don't stand any chance
and the
on their
thing
own.
that scares me, to be honest, here is like, have you heard the famous quote, like the famous quote that's they came first, and it was they came first for the communists. I didn't speak up because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the Jews. I'm not a Jew, so I didn't speak up. They came for the trade unionists, then the Catholics, and by the time they came for me, no one was left to speak up for me. And that's like that chilling quote that we watch these things happening, and like we as the United States are kind of the emanating radiance of democracy for the world. We're the one of the world's first real democracies in the modern era, and we can't even control ourselves. So why should anyone else have to live up to our standard?
Right, and the thing is, that's the problem. Like, the United
Yeah,
States always tries to impose our own democracy on other countries. Look what we're trying to do in the Middle East.
yeah,
Like, we went to war with them, and then now we want to implement our democracy in their region.
yeah.
It may not work for them. Democracy, I personally don't think it is for everybody. There can't be one way of thinking,
No,
one way to run the world.
and
That's
I,
just not
I, I
possible.
definitely think democracy. I would disagree with you because democracy is right for everything. I think people have a right to choose. When people aren't allowed the right to rule themselves, that's when corruption lends itself. And we aren't.
But even look at our democracy; it's
Well, we're not a
completely corrupt.
democracy. That's the thing. We're a
We're a
republic.
republic. Yeah, a
We're a
republic.
republic. One republic under God. You know, that's the thing. We are run by the people with money. We believe in a unfair, like, look at the thing that happened with GME last week, and
Right, and AMC.
AMC and Bed Bath and Beyond. We live in a world where if the rich don't like the rules we're playing by, they're just gonna change them.
Right,
And
because everyone started to play by their rules and they
yeah,
didn't like it.
and then the thing is, everyone wants to be on their own fucking, like, nobody wants to care about anyone else. So like that, the whole mask thing, like, look what Tubi said, and I agree about the anal swab testing for COVID.
Is that legit?
Um
I
yeah,
wasn't sure if that was like
yeah,
pretty legit.
like, because your body, whenever your body will get rid of that through feces. So yeah, you can check your anus for, and you'll get it probably quicker than you would from anywhere else, and you'll also be able to tell if you're
My
getting.
thing is like, because here in the United States, when they swab, if you do it the right way, they send a thing up your nose and it touches the back of your brain. Why can't they just swab my mouth? If I sneeze or cough on you, you're gonna get it. If I
Yeah,
have it, it would be realistic if you just swab
yeah,
the
I,
back of
I
my throat,
agree, and
especially for like
so
tonsil or
and
strep throat and stuff.
I don't know the full story, nor can I really talk on the whole medical community, like the whole
Mhm.
medicinal issues behind
No,
it,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. We're not
and
completely educated in that kind of stuff,
yeah,
but
but these people, everyone cares about themselves and nobody cares for anyone else right now, and I think that's one of the things that hopefully here in the near future that our generation will help to change. Like,
mhm.
was talking to my father-in-law, and he was talking about how it's really fucking shitty that millennials aren't allowed a voice. There's only like what, five, I think, millennials in all of Congress, but we
Yeah,
make up 34% or so of the working class in the United States. why do we have less than 10% of the
Well,
voice
that comes
if we're
down to the issue with
34?
our own government again.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
there's no term limits in Congress, so like they're there from the time they get the first time they're in until they die.
Yeah, and that's the thing is these people enforce their rules. Like, I'll be honest with you, these people are so focused on the wrong things. All they care is about big business. They'll eat
Money.
the shit up with money, and they're it's about power. They have this fetish for power. They get off on being better or stronger than you, and
Yeah,
like
because they can get anything they want or do anything
yeah,
they want once you have power.
yeah, and
Money isn't everything, but once you have power, it changes the game.
And no, I agree with you completely, Tubi. The information war is the big issue we're dealing with right now. Like, Jeff Bezos this week, another news story. Jeff Bezos is retiring. He's
stepping down.
He's retiring from CEO. He's stepping down
Yeah.
from CEO to become the executor,
The
head
executive
chairman,
on the-
the executive
yeah.
chairman of the board. There we go.
Yeah.
He's stepping down to be the executive chairman of the board. Do you know what his next project is right now? Running the Washington Post.
That's owned by Amazon?
No, it's owned by Jeff Bezos, not Amazon. He is the richest man in the world and owns one of the most well-regarded newspapers in the United States.
Who is he the richest now, or did
Elon Musk went like this. Pass. It was literally a blip one day and it just gone.
Yeah.
And literally, Elon Musk had the right reaction when they asked him. He's like sitting there smoking a joint, and they're like, "Did you know you just became the richest man in the world?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Crew saying to chime in and said he's the piece of shit.
Oh yeah, Jeff Bezos is the biggest piece of shit. Have you guys ever seen like the TikTok guy who did Jeff Bezos' worth in rice? And he goes, "Okay, this grain of rice is one American household's income." In the United States, an average American household income. And then he grabbed 4 bags, big 50-pound bags of rice, and just goes, "This is Jeff Bezos' worth." And you're like, holy fuck, dude. And
yeah, it's sickening how much money they have and how many problems that these rich people could really fix in the world. Like, there's tons of issues like debt or hunger issues or whatever. All they gotta do is put in half of what they got.
And I got a fun fact that I just saw on the news this week, just after they talked about Jeff Bezos.
All rich people are pieces of shit. It sounds like that's what it works out to be.
I'm not gonna say that. There are rich people out there that I like. Like, for example,
the amount of money they end up occurring is what turns them into a piece of shit sometimes, because they become
but
arrogant.
Then the follow-up is I like to say there's also a big distinction as well. There's the people who made their money, and then there's the people born into money too. And that does make a difference. Now, we're talking about Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. They're not our parents' generation, but a little bit after, right? They're like at the beginning.
Those people were kind of people who worked hard for it. They weren't given any.
So, like, for example, Bill Gates, he in an interview was asked, why don't you spend, more of your money? Why don't you why don't you own a yacht? Why don't you do this? And he goes, I'm the son of a lumberjack or whatever it was. His father is just a basic tradesman. And he goes, and then he talks about how, they were like, well, your daughter, you spoil the crap out of her and this and that. And he goes, yeah, well, my daughter is the daughter of a multi-billionaire. We came from different roots. And that, I think, is the big issue right now. We're coming into child money. Yeah, and with exactly, Spooky. These people with this money, they have a great responsibility. Like, look at what Bill Gates does. He's helping to eliminate diseases across the world that are troubling people all over the world.
And he predicted COVID, basically.
Well, everyone predicted COVID. Even in Obama. Obama's like, we don't have the infrastructure. If you don't fix the infrastructure, we are literally one cough away from collapsing the entire medical system.
And they weren't wrong.
And here we are. Yeah, no, I like Gates way more than Elon Musk. Elon Musk, I think, is Elon Musk is a guy who was on really shitty hard times for a long time, and now he's just like, yeah, whatever. I fucking made it. I'll do what I want. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And like
Yeah,
even
I
on
mean,
podcasts,
but
it's
in the
always
same breath, he's also somebody who's trying to push society. Like he's trying to like develop like traveling to new planets and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like it's cool. Or like moving from regular gas vehicles to
yeah,
electric. Like he has done a lot of good,
yeah.
but how he carries himself sometimes can come off like arrogant in a way. So like I
Yeah,
completely
and
understand why
he's
some
not the
people
one
hate him.
doing all. He's the one who he's just running the business. You know, there are way
When he
smarter people
initially
out there.
came up with these ideas, like
Yeah,
kinda
yeah, yeah.
like he had to start somewhere.
So I no, I definitely agree that we're in a weird spot. Like the world, I think right around us, we're on the precipice of either becoming the leaders or watching the world burn. And like
Mhm.
as Tubi was saying, I think it was Tubi said earlier about QAnon, for example. Bass said, with information, the people with information are the ones who, bad information creates bad elections. And things like QAnon, for example, the fact that I was talking about Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. The people who own the news are the news is carefully crafted to make you hate people. Like the fact that they geared the news for Wall Street Bets, they did it to slander Wall Street Bets. They didn't give them a fair trial. They just said, these people who may be associated with neo-Nazi terrorism. Like that's irrelevant to the article. That's not good writing. But we're this information. We're in a place right now where information is at your hand, in your
Right.
fingertip, and the bad information is taking over the good information, and like we're getting inundated with
But that
Dr.
doesn't help with
Mom.
social media too, because that's where a lot of people get a lot of
Yeah. All
misinformation
right,
from
I
social
don't, I
media.
don't want to trigger anyone here, but if you watch Fox News, fuck you. Like
I
Fox
agree.
News is the worst. Like their shows, the
They
news
love
anchors wrote
manipulating the
books that are
truth.
all discredited. We've got announcers who, yeah, Dr. Mom. You like that one, Phil? I like that one too. We're dealing with Dr. Moms, and so we deal with these people like their quota is just, do we have enough blonde-haired women who can giggle and laugh and look fucking stupid? Yeah, Tucker Carlson can stick his head in a fucking toilet and
Nah, yeah.
drown. Now that they want their fucking gallons per flush or whatever to go up, yeah, it's just no. I
No,
agree though.
yeah. Every time that I've ever watched Fox News, I feel like they always try to manipulate the truth and try to like dig into it and like point out something else that has nothing to do with what the actual topic is and try to make the topic look bad because of this.
Yeah,
Or like I feel like they do that a lot. I mean, granted, media kind of does that regardless, no matter what source it is, but Fox does it a lot.
yeah. Fox just blatantly lies, and they don't have to care because the people who run Fox will protect them from legal lawsuits. But talking about some of these people in power, who here has heard of in chat? Don't give anything away. Who here has heard of Marjorie Taylor? Okay.
Yeah, I just had to research a little bit today. That
I
seems pretty
agree with
crazy.
you, Tubi. I don't want to fully agree with you, but I agree for the most part. Institutionalized Christianity, yes, I agree, is a problem in the United States right now.
America.
In America, sorry, America. So I do want to agree with that, but like let's just shift
Majority. Oh
gears
my God,
to like
exactly.
yeah. So Marjorie Taylor. For those of you who don't know Marjorie Taylor, I'm just gonna say 3 words, and then we'll start talking about more stuff about her. Jewish space laser. Okay, all right. All right. If you don't know anything about Marjorie Taylor, she is a Georgia representative, Republican, hard right, who said, for example, Republicans who are willing to compromise and work are weak Republicans. She also believes that Democrats should be executed.
Pew pew.
She said that the wildfires.
Crazy fucking bitch. I love her. Chat's on
Tubi, you
fire.
got me there. Crazy fucking bitch is a better term for her. But Marjorie Taylor believes that the forest fires in California were caused by Jewish space lasers.
Did she really? Oh man,
She
I didn't read that.
dead serious said that shit. She said Jewish
So
space
how is she in
lasers
office again?
because people like QAnon exist. Like these people who eat this shit up. So,
Right, I agree with Phil. He's
and
trying to get her out.
yeah, and so right now she's being investigated whether or not they can get her.
Right, I guess they want to remove her, is what I was reading, and I guess Republicans are on board for it too.
Phil. Well, the Jewish calendar, Vic.
Not really.
Okay, so the Jewish calendar is not the Roman calendar, which we use, which is based off of Jesus' death. So we don't have AD and BC, they just have the year, the written year. So they're in year 5000, whereas we're over here only in the year 2000 because Jesus Christ died 2020 years ago.
Yeah.
Marjorie. Yeah, you're right, Tubi. The if anyone with a brain, yes, would agree that if Jewish people did have a space laser, first of all, Mel Gibson would have made a movie about it, and then they would have used it to kill Marjorie Taylor.
That's definitely a good one.
Yeah,
definitely. What I was reading into it though, it seems like the Republicans are on board too with removing her and stuff. It just depends on how this investigation goes.
Yeah,
which makes sense. Might as well vote to remove her.
And exactly what Spooky Crew is saying. I 100% agree with Spooky Crew. The issue we're dealing with is the Republicans aren't voting for Republicans. They're voting for whoever is not Democrat. That's the thing. If you're a Democrat, you're an enemy. Look at this week. It finally took a country to stand up. And Canada, sometimes you're just nothing happens there. You are just a blip of nothingness. But Canada made a great law this week. The Proud Boys are now a terrorist organization within Canada. Fuck those guys.
Right, but yet here in America they're not.
Yeah,
it just blows my mind.
Yeah, and
we could label Antifa as a terrorist.
Yeah, and Antifa, they don't really. They're not a terrorist group as much as the Proud Boys are. The Proud Boys planted pipe bombs.
Well, that's the thing. They're blaming that on Antifa.
Exactly. Fox News, the day after it, said the whole thing was staged by Antifa.
Right.
So, yeah, it's like socialism isn't bad. Anyone who says socialism is bad, you know what? I hope you die of some disease you can't get help with because you have American health care. I honestly, if you think socialism is bad, I hope you catch COVID and die. Socialism has its place. I'm not saying we need to be a full socialist economy. I'm saying socialist policies. Healthcare. Dealing with universal childcare, things like that to help families. Childcare is one of the biggest problems in the world. My sister right now has to debate with, do I have a job or not? It's more expensive for her to work than to just stay home with her kid. It's really not worth it. The only reason she works is so that her kid can socialize. So that my niece can socialize. It almost costs as much as she makes to just work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's sad. Yeah, we definitely live in a world where the people who are at the bottom will always struggle.
And exactly what Spooky Crew says. It's a straw man. It's literally a straw man. That's all it is. It's a made up enemy. It's
okay. Another one that's technically a terrorist group. What the hell happened to ISIS? ISIS just up and disappeared or something?
Well, ISIS.
For a while, we were blaming everything on ISIS. Yeah. Now we blame everything on Antifa.
Well, that's the thing. When people with education comes people who aren't fucking Republicans, because let's be honest, Republicans are you're either in the top 1% or sucking on their asshole, or you just don't really know anything.
Good comparison, Tubi.
Yeah. Yeah. So socialism like 405, the reason why you don't have to bring your own road when you have to go down. Yeah. So exactly. Socialism, why bring your own road when you can just take the government's already laid out road? It's such a just duh concept. And
the medical field is definitely another issue. Why doesn't everyone have actually good healthcare? I have healthcare, but it's terrible. My deductible is $3,000. I don't have no copay.
Yeah.
So
and I got lucky. I got lucky with my healthcare. I got state healthcare, state worker healthcare, but I can't bring Jordan onto my policy because I'm a millennial, and anyone hired after a certain date, namely me, can't bring on your significant other unless they have no insurance. So, like, with Jordan's last job, it was almost more profitable for Jordan to be unemployed, not having a job, and for me to just give her health care.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, healthcare can get really expensive, too.
But, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about here today, like, the stimulus bill. So, I'm kind of glad. Biden essentially, I'm getting a little annoyed with Biden because he's like, I want to be friends. Let's all work together. And I'm like, no, fuck the Republicans. They fucked us for 4 years.
Think about it. He's like the first one in a while to try and work a unified.
And you know what? When he tries to work with them, they still fuck with him. It's like we don't have a president and then a president too. We have a president and a vice president. The president makes the decisions. We voted him. You know. I saw a late night television show and they're like, you know, there isn't two presidents, you know, it's, you know, and they had Mitch McConnell sitting in a chair smiling. You know, we have one president. You get to make the rules. Stop fucking playing their game. You're only making the problem worse because you're just entitling them. It's like a screaming baby, okay?
Right.
Sometimes they just need to fucking scream and get the fuck over themselves.
Right.
I'll be honest.
I like the idea of working together, but they need to like have that same mindset too. Like he can't be the only one having that mindset and not wanting to play well with each other. But Republicans like, no, we got to do this. It's only this way. Like,
and you know what?
Democrats are the same way sometimes.
And you know what? He wants to give all this help to small businesses and people making less than $150,000 a year.
Right. I was gonna say, did you see the change they're trying to make it to like if you make it has to be like $70,000 or less. Like it makes more sense for that because like why is it such a high number? If you're already making that much money, you don't need help.
Yeah,
I don't care who you are. You don't need help. If you need help, you're living above your means and you need to reevaluate your life. Yeah. But the people who are making like $30,000, $20,000 are struggling.
And the bill also includes minimum wage changes across the country. And they're like, whoa, you can't do that. You'll bankrupt. Jeff Bezos will go bankrupt. And it's like, no, and he won't. That's the thing. Like, there was an article. If Jeff Bezos gave everyone in Amazon, every employee, a $105,000 bonus, he would still be just as rich as he was pre-pandemic.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Let that sink in. Jeff Bezos has more money.
Cookie Crew's on a roll.
Yeah. Yes. Mitch McConnell can eat shit. Also, I really wish he would have gotten hospitalized. Did you guys see him after he came out looking like he just got done on Street Fighter?
No, I didn't see
that. It was like a few months back. Dude had like a black eye, he had bandages everywhere, like he was busted up. And they're like, what happened? He goes, none of your business. I was like, fuck you.
I was gonna cycle back here. I lost my train of thought. Keep going.
But like Tubi, for example, I agree with you, Tubi. Socialism isn't bad. Let's round it back to your the podcast for last week for you on Friday when you talked to your cousin Steven. Mm-hmm. You know, firefighters are just another aspect of socialism. They're a state-funded thing. Why be your own firefighter when you can train somebody to do it for you? And make it state-funded. So now when your house is on fire, they can put it out. You know, it's these things.
Because most firefighters, as we talked about on that talk show, is volunteer. Some of them are paid, but most of your firefighters are volunteer. And it's just like, how can you rely on someone that's trying to do that like in a very greedy money? It's hard. And the thing, volunteerism is down. So like you said, if it's state funded and you got these paid, you expect them to show up versus volunteers. It's like, hopefully they show up.
Tubi, I want to actually just reach out to you real quick. Where are you from, Tubi? Like, you know, I'm born and raised American, and not all my friends are. For example, I have 2 Cambodian friends who are first generation American. You know, I have friends who are, you know, from South America, actually, whose parents moved here, and he's first generation American. Like, you know, exactly. So Singapore. So like we have these struggling nations outside of here, like Asian nations that look up to the democracy in America, and to see us fail the way we are just says, well, why don't we just go back to communism or to, you know, Chairman Mao, you know? Yeah, exactly. Like Phil, for example, is one of my friends who's Cambodian. He's first generation American. People look
Right.
up to America, and we are tearing ourselves apart right now. So,
Phil, come on,
well,
man.
I mean, Asians are actually like smarter than Americans right now. Like we're
Right.
like on the education scale, America as a first
Hey,
world country is like in the
we're
30th.
considered world class streamers.
Yeah, world class streamers. We're
Especially
seen
from
around the world now.
yeah. No, yeah, we would definitely appreciate the support. It's
Yeah,
great
and
to
it's
have you all on the show.
and that's the thing. Like I do agree. There's a lot of streamers out there. I'm not looking to do gimmicks and shit to keep people entertained. If you want to be here and listen to us talk on a podcast or just watch me play a game, you're more than welcome to join us. But like I'll talk politics. I'm uninformed as much as the next guy, but I'm still better than a QAnon supporter. You know, I don't believe Biden sucks. Dude, they had Anderson Cooper actually interviewed a QAnon supporter who had given it up, and he goes, you know, did you really believe that these Democrats and these people in the government were killing babies and drinking their blood? And the guy looked at Anderson Cooper and goes, Anderson Cooper, I want to apologize because I thought you did that. And Anderson Cooper's just like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's
how
crazy.
how are we believing this shit? How are we letting ourselves being torn apart like this? Like,
It's as soon as that like any
you
form
just
of knowledge or information gets
yeah
out there, and if it's on the internet, they're like, oh, it's real, it's legit.
yeah.
What happened to the old saying of don't believe everything you see on the internet? Like
Well,
it's such a
you
classic
know,
and accurate
and I
saying.
joke around every night with the Spooky crew when we're playing WoW. We're like, you know, you can't lie on the fucking internet. That's illegal. But you know, 90% of the internet is fucking lies anymore.
Right.
And everything is everyone's opinion. That's the other thing. So remember, anything I say here is my opinion from any information that I've seen. And I'm
Right.
always
Yeah, this is
more
definitely
than
all
willing to be
opinion.
corrected. But like, you know, I'm here to learn and to talk with other people. But like, God,
Yeah, because we're definitely a podcast here where we accept everybody's views and we love to go back and forth as well. So
we will attack your views, and you have if you wanna be a part of it, you gotta just defend your views. And you know, we
right.
love back and forth. But
That's the
it's
point. You just gotta know how to argue instead of attacking one another. Like you
yeah,
gotta
like
prove one another wrong with facts
like
and
it
not opinion.
just this month, they announced a new gun control bill in America, which is which could turn the gun ownership on its head in America. And as Spooky Crew said, it's posturing for, you know, gun collections like they did in Australia. Essentially, it's
Hmm.
we're looking at, you know, crazy things going on in the precipice of the future here, and so, you know, who knows where we're gonna end up in the next 10 years.
Right, right. I think we should save the gun conversation for
I
next week. I
definitely
think that'll
yeah.
be a good topic to get into.
I think we could, you know, I'd love if anyone out here is, you know, a gun rights advocate. We'd love to have you on, you know, if you play games and
Yeah,
you're a
most
gun rights
definitely.
advocate, we'd love to talk to you about it.
Right, most definitely agree.
Yeah.
But I think it's almost about time to close out this week's episode. Any last comments or remarks for this week?
I have nothing myself, you know, if the chat has anything they want to talk about. Also, shout out to Tubi. I agree. Switzerland has great gun ownership, but then again, they also have forced military service. So
Right. Yeah.
you
Right.
gotta you got the good and the bad. So
Yeah, there got to be a better way to do it. But again, we'll get into the whole gun ownership and stuff like that next week. But yeah, nothing from chat or anything. Yeah, definitely shout out
what
to
we're
the Warhammer 3. I think we'll
we're
get into it next week as
we'll
well.
talk about that next week. I think I'd like
Mhm.
to wait to discuss it a little bit more, but I'm excited for that as well. Total Warhammer 3 looks really cool coming out. But then again, I'm getting kind of burnt out on the games.
No doubt. But first off, I would like to thank everyone who showed up today live and engaged with us today. It was a great chat with everybody. Also want to thank everybody who checks us out later on YouTube. We're definitely changing our next our in progress review of our game to the first Thursday of March, as we were working on reestablishing our schedules and stuff like that, as we mentioned at the beginning of the episode. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Um, But other than that, Roger, you working on yourself? You working on any projects? Anything going on?
I'm trying to get some repetition going here. Because I just tried to shovel after the northeastern storm we got here. Because I know you were dealing 60-degree weather down there or something.
We actually a little bit colder because of the snow front
Yeah,
up there. It was like
so
40.
we had over a foot of snow, and I tried to shovel that shit, and dude, I killed my back, man.
You're getting
So
old.
no, and that's the thing. I shouldn't be getting old like this. But Jordan went out and
Yeah.
bought me a snowblower after I got done finishing the sidewalk and the driveway a little bit, and I was like, okay, cool. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to work out a little bit at home instead, and
Mm-hmm.
also I want to get some enrichment going. I'm reading a chapter of a novel a day, reading 3 chapters of my manga, and watching an anime a day, just so that I can kind of keep up with the things I enjoy.
Right.
Because if I don't do
Otherwise,
it,
it'll just lay there to the
yeah,
side.
I'll sit here and I'll look over it like I do right now with my Warhammer stuff. I just look over and I go, shit, I have like 4 boxes of Warhammer stuff to build, plus 3 smaller boxes, plus 2 smaller boxes of those. Oh God, I have so much stuff that I want to do, but I just never make time for it. And then by the time I decide to do it, I don't.
Right. Yeah, you just try to establish a better schedule and whatnot and plan it
Yeah.
out even for sure. But that's cool to hear. But where can we find you at?
Well, everyone in chat knows where to find me, but if you're not in chat right now, it's twitch.tv/lunatic_oblivion. Oblivion starts with an A.
Yeah, that's what's up. I want to start off by asking everyone here on chat or checks us out on YouTube to go check out the talk show that's also on the Chill Zone YouTube channel.
We
Where
also
you can
put
catch
the
it.
link for the Chill Zone down below. I believe it should just be the Chill Zone icon that we had at the beginning of the stream.
Yeah, exactly. And that talk show goes live every Friday at 7 p.m. on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Mr. Never Chillin'. So definitely come join and engage in that conversation. We touched on a bunch of topics, anywhere from like bringing awareness to something, talking about someone's journey, or even advertising like their business or skills and stuff like that. So it's a platform that I'm creating to introduce the community to a wide range of unique people. It'll be pretty cool to bring them on. I do have my friend Malik coming on tomorrow. He's going to advertise like his skills as a musician and also about his teaching. He's a teacher as well, so come check us out tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Again, I'm also still working on beating games, Watch Dogs, Cyberpunk. I definitely want to start Call of Duty's Blackout Cold War campaign and Immortals Phoenix Rising. So a bunch of games in the work. So be on the lookout for those game reviews hopefully in the next couple months here. But other than that, catch me on Twitter at Mr. Never _, Xbox at X Never Space Chillin', or catch me on Facebook if you want to message me or something like that, or if you want to come on the show. Again, let us know. Vic Brubacher on Facebook. And again, my Twitch channel is Mr. Never Chillin' at the end of twitch.tv. But other than that, I definitely want to thank our, since we didn't have a guest this week, another thanks, shout out to our streaming guest. It was great to have your engagement this week. But again, we'll continue to release weekly episodes, so continue to check us out as we record these live at 7 p.m. on twitch.tv/lunatic_oblivion with an A. And make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and along with help sharing our content to help grow this community as we connect to as many people as possible. But until next time, peace.